A bill that promises to move death penalty cases through the courts in Louisiana a lot faster has advanced here at the Capitol. It's House Bill 675, and it would reform what's called the post-conviction relief system. That bill passed out of appropriations today. If it becomes law, it would shorten the amount of time a death row inmate has to exhaust their appeals process. Attorney General Liz Murrill spoke in favor of the bill, saying victims' families are subjected to years of heartbreaking court proceedings as defense attorneys file appeal after appeal. In fact, she even invited one of those families to the committee today, the Richards. They're the victims of the so-called Cheneyville slasher, Larry Roy. He's been on death row since the 90s for the murder of Rosetta Salas and Freddie Richard Jr. The victim's family also spoke in favor of the bill because they've just seen Roy's appeals process given new life.
You know, the question we should be asking is, how did we go from a 2-year time limit to 30 years? At some point in time, he obtained a ruling that allowed him to have an evidentiary hearing, and he didn't pursue it. And now in 2025, after more than a decade of sitting on that grant of relief, he's saying, oh, I didn't get my hearing. Yeah, you did. You got it. You just didn't pursue it. And so, you know, these are the people that suffer in that system. They were allowed to sit on their rights for over a decade and now say, oh, we didn't have time. Yes, you did have time. You had plenty of time. And so it's a broken system. We need discipline in the appeals process.
Death row advocates spoke out against the bill, pointing to Louisiana's relatively high exoneration rate. They told members of the committee that when someone is exonerated, that's part of the current post-conviction relief system in play. The bill is now headed to the House. Reporting for your local election headquarters, I'm Fred Childers.
Fred, thanks for that. A nonprofit law office representing indigent defendants sentenced to death in Louisiana spoke opposing the bill, arguing that the reason the appeals process takes so long is because they're underfunded and understaffed, they say, not because they drag out the process.